Hi, everybody. Today I am going to read for you a book called I Am Amelia Earhart. I am Amelia Earhart. When I was little, people told me that girls should wear dresses and play with dolls. They said we shouldn't have unladylike adventures. I didn't agree. In fact, when I was 7 years old, my sister and I decided to build our own roller coaster in our backyard. We placed 2 planks of wood up against the side of our tool shed. And here's her sister, though, saying, "Grandma's not going to like this." The cab was a wooden packing box with roller skate wheels attached to the bottom. We greased the wood with lard so we'd move super fast. And here's her brother saying, "Amelia, are you sure this is a good idea?" And Amelia says, "This isn't a good idea. It's the best idea." Of course, I got to ride first. This was my moment. Here we go in 3, 2. I still remember the wind in my face. My stomach seemed to sink. I was flying. The crash was loud and noisy and messy. It certainly wasn't ladylike, but it was awesome. And so here is Amelia's grandmother saying, "Amelia Earhart, take it apart this instant." And Amelia says, "That was awesome." It wasn't the last time I would fly. As I got older, I went to many air shows. When I was 23 years old, but still a kid at heart, my dad took me to meet Frank Hawks, a man who would eventually set many of his own flight records. For $10, Hawks agreed to take me on my very first flight. Here's him saying, "You ready?" "I'm ready." For 10 minutes, we flew through the sky and out over the Pacific Ocean. By the time I was 200 or 300 feet off the ground, I knew one thing: I had to fly. To save for my flying lessons, I worked as a truck driver, which wasn't ladylike either, a stenographer, which is a fancy schmancy word for somebody who writes down what people say, and even a photographer. 6 months after I learned to fly, I bought a bright yellow used biplane that I named Canary. Canary is a cool name for a plane, right? And here is Amelia saying, "This is my instructor, a woman named Netta Snook." That's her real name. But here's my secret. I wasn't a natural. I wasn't the best pilot. I just worked harder than anyone else. And here's her instructor, Netta, saying, "That's enough flying for today." And Amelia saying, "No, I can do better. One more flight." Most important, like that day on the roller coaster, I dared to do what so many said couldn't be done. And here's a member of the press saying, "A girl flying across the Atlantic? Amelia, you sure this is a good idea?" And Amelia says, "This isn't a good idea. It's the best idea." I became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, and then the first woman to fly by myself across the Atlantic. Back then, people took boats to get to Europe, sailing for weeks. Planes were still a new thing. In fact, on the day I took off, one magazine ran an article that said women would never be able to fly that far. But I did. To do it, I had to fly for 14 hours and 56 minutes with no rest, no break. Sometimes the sun was so blinding I could barely see where I was going. In the process, I also broke the record for crossing the ocean in the shortest time, doing it faster than any man or woman ever. And here's Amelia saying, "This is awesome." Then I broke an altitude record, which is just a fancy schmancy way of saying I went higher than anyone else. How high did I go? About 12 Empire State Buildings straight up at a time when no woman had ever gone that high. And over here we have Amelia telling us, in October 1922, I broke the women's altitude record by rising to 14,000 feet. And in July 1930, I set a speed record of over 181 miles per hour. In my life, I took many flights. Every single time, there was someone who said I wouldn't be able to do it. Never let anyone stop you. Whatever your dream is, chase it, work hard for it. You will find it. It is the best lesson I can give you. Now this is Amelia. See, they're throwing her a parade. I am Amelia Earhart. I know no bounds, and I hope you'll remember that the greatest flight you'll ever take is the one no one has ever tried before. And here is a picture of Amelia Earhart. And she says, never interrupt someone doing what you said couldn't be done. So thank you for spending this time with me today. And remember that the world is a better place because you are in it. Bye-bye.